Hey everybody, welcome back to FSI DFS coverage of NASCAR Mega Ruler 31. TK Nation could not be with me today. I think he's just ducking me because I won the head-to-head that we talked about if you watched the last video from Xfinity, but I really can't brag because my lineup didn't even break 100 points. So yesterday's Xfinity race was pretty clean. There were only a couple wrecks, no big one, and then rain ended it. Happy for Jeb Burton getting his first win there, but kind of wished it would have been able to play itself out. But good news is today the weather looks better for Talladega. There should not be any issues. So 500 miles, 188 laps. And I'm just going to do a quick breakdown for you today. So we talked about in the Xfinity race, pretty much the first thing you want to do is make the pledge. I do not need to use all of my salary for this race because you really want to take guys in the back and you do not need to use your whole salary. Do not try to use your whole salary. The quality of your lineup will not be what you need to win this race. So for Xfinity, we kind of talked about guys from like 25 to the back to get place differential, and it kind of worked out, but it didn't because the race didn't go long enough for a lot of things to materialize. It's a little bit different for Cup, I feel. In Xfinity, you had some guys in the back that could move forward, but I think the quality of the guys in the back here, besides maybe like 5 of them beyond 25th position, really aren't great plays just based on equipment. And even like, I believe it was Cody Ware yesterday, finished 40th. His equipment just, and the guy that started 40th too, like his engine broke, and he was a pretty chalky player too. And he's the one actually ended up 40th. So, a lot of people took him because he was the 40th place car and you thought you could go nowhere place up, but he only got like 2 or 3 points, I think, maybe even a 0. It was bad. It was worth the risk because it was the right play. But I think down here in Cup, a lot of these guys lower on, I think you'll see a lot of lineups where people are stacking like 35 to 40 and then like maybe 34, 36, 37, 34, 35, 37, like all kinds of different combinations there. But I think, you can maybe get some place differential out there, but there's just some plays that I really don't like here. So what we'll do is we'll start at 25 and we'll work down, and then we'll start at the top and work through the middle, which I really think the middle of the sweet spot is going to be about probably maybe like 16th through 25th. So looking at the lineup here at 25th, you have Chase Briscoe. TK and I have talked quite a few times. We feel he moved up because there was a retirement last year and this car opened and he was contractually obligated to get the ride, but he just does not seem ready for Cup racing. So would it surprise me if he had got a top 10 finish here? No. Michael McDowell won this race in Daytona just because of rain and weird situations and stuff. And we've seen some people end up in the top 10 just out of luck. So nobody would really surprise me. But if you just look at the range of outcomes, I don't feel that Briscoe really has the talent to be able to hang here. LaJoy, 26, I like him. He seems to do pretty well on these plate tracks. And he actually has been in the optimal lineup a couple times. Colt Custer, I think here maybe the Stewart Haas really will do better than they have on some other tracks. So I like Custer here. Ryan Newman, I think, is one of my favorite plays starting 28th. He's a very experienced driver. I know he had that horrific crash in Daytona in 2020, but other than that, like, he bounced back and did really well in Talladega, and he's got a lot of experience. I don't think he's going to get up there and lead it, but I think definitely him finishing 18th, getting 10 place differential points is definitely a floor there. So Ryan Preece, I like also. I think he showed some speed at times, and think he can avoid trouble. So he's another one that I really like. Anthony Alfredo, don't really like him. I think everybody loved him at Daytona after seeing like what he did for a brief time in Xfinity, but I don't think that he is going to really be able to move up. BJ McLeod, I'm fading him. I don't like the equipment. Huff and Wear are okay. Again, their equipment's better than McLeod, but I don't like them. Justin Haley, he's actually in a decent car. He has really been dominating here in the Xfinity. He was my favorite to win yesterday, and he was up there close to the front and potentially could have been a factor in winning the race, if the race had gone all the way. But starting down here at 34th in the 77 car, I definitely think that he can hang in and make it through the race, avoid trouble, and definitely get some place differential points there. Gase, again, kind of skeptical on him, and Yaley. Balicki, his equipment's just not the same as it was. Like last year, we played him all the time because he always finished races. He seems to be finishing races this year, but just doesn't have the speed. So he'll finish 10, 15 laps down. He might even get black flag for not even being keep up with speed. So then we come to Kaz Grala and Harrison Burton. Kaz Grala is in the Kahlua car. Kahlua is the team that Jeb Burton drove for. They showed dominance in Xfinity in this race yesterday, and I think definitely this is a good car. He's a decent driver. He got caught up in the last time he raced in a plate race with some bad luck, but I think he can avoid that, and he's definitely one that I don't think he can win the race, but he's going to be up there and definitely in the top 20. So definitely locking him in most of my lineups. And Harrison Burton also. Harrison Burton is a really good Xfinity driver. It was it was Jeb that won the race, but Harrison is also good. He drives for Gibbs in the Xfinity series, so I like this car, and I think he might hook up with some of the other Toyotas from Gibbs Racing there, and he definitely has some potential to move up. Timmy Hill starting 40th. I know he'll probably be maybe a little bit popular because we look at no place to go up but up, but I think the 66 car is not the most reliable, so we might I think I'm going to fade him. I don't think I'm going to play him in many lineups. Okay, let's bring back up to the top. Denny Hamlin, I think he can definitely 100% win this race, but even if he wins this race and leads, you only have 188 laps here, and lead changes so much. They ping pong back and forth that I just don't see, even if he leads 30 laps and wins this race, it's just too much of a risk. So play him if you want to, but I am actually fading drivers 1 through 6 here. I do not like any of them for a cash lineup. It's a little bit different on FanDuel where there's some equity for finding the winner. Out of this group, I think Joey Logano has the best chance, so he's the only one I would even consider. Ryan Blaney, I think, is going to be very high owned. I think people feel that he has the best chance to win here outside the top 6, and that he is going to be able to get a little bit of place differential points if he does first. He picks up 6 places. Chase Elliott, I think, is in the same boat, but Hendrick cars will be very fast here, and Chase Elliott definitely could rebound and win this race. But I like Blaney's chances a little bit better. He'll probably get up with Logano and Keselowski, and if they don't wreck each other and take him out with them like they did in Daytona on the last lap, I think they're definitely a chance there. Kyle Busch, as we always said, always a GPP. I'm kind of fading him here. I just don't think there's the upside for place differential. I don't really see him getting out there and leading laps. If he is working with his teammates, I see it's Hamlin's out there. I don't see Kyle Busch, so he's a fade. Keselowski, I think, again, people were going to see what happened with Daytona and that there are going to be a good medium ownership on him, but I'm a fade on him. He just seems like he's had bad luck here. Now, Austin Dillon, I really like. It seems like the RCR cars are really good on this track. So he's one at 11th that I could possibly see as putting in my cash lineup. So basically my cash lineup is I'm looking for the 4 solid guys in the back that I talked about. like Newman, maybe Haley, Casgarella, and Harrison Burton. Like pick like those four, maybe mix another one in and try to figure out who the winner is going to be up top. I think that's, how I'm really going to approach this. And Austin Dillon's one of the guys that I consider in that too. Kyle Larson also, like I said, these Hendrick cars are going to have speed. Kyle Larson is one that doesn't like to lay back. He likes to get up there and try to lead. And he's been having a good season. And I think definitely that he could be up there and do well in this position. Matt DiBenedetto, I think he has some of the Penske affiliation, so I can see him running with those cars. Getting up from 13th, I don't think it's high enough, so I'd rather roster somebody lower on down. I don't think he can win the race. Eric Almirola, I can see him running in the top 5. He's somebody that I think will be like highly owned, and I can see him as a cash play. I like him much better than Almirola. And if you want a couple more place differential spots than Dillon and Larson, I could go with him. Kurt Busch, he's a veteran here. He's okay. I'm not going to make him priority, probably GPP. Kevin Harvick, 16th. I think he's going to be super highly owned because I think people think he's in the sweet spot with the place differential. He could get you 15 place differential points. Plus, he's got a shot to win the race. I just don't know. I had him as a fade, but when I saw all the ownership and talk out in the industry, I marked him on our sheet as GPP. I just don't see it. I'm not going to be on him. I can see the case that everybody's making for it, and it could work out, but I'd rather take some other plays there. So now we're starting to get into this like sweet spot area that we talked about. Ricky Stenhouse, his aggressiveness, he could get up there, and he's been better. Daytona and fall, he finished like 37th, but Daytona or Talladega fall last year, he's finished 37th here, but had average running position, like he was top 10 in the spring of the Talladega race, and he did well in Daytona. I think he definitely can finish ahead of where he started. I'm not saying he's priority by any means, but I think he's one to kind of consider. Ross Chastain, like just as aggressive too. If he can stay out of trouble, he should be decent. He was really good here in the spring race also last year. Daniel Suarez, TK loves him. I'm always skeptical. I'm out on him. I'm sure if TK would hear, he'd say, play him as a GPP. Tyler Reddick, I think definitely has some win equity with another Childress car. I think if he hooks up with Austin Dillon, they could do really well here. I think he's going to have high ownership with like the place differential. So he's one that's in a sweet spot here. So I have no problem playing Tyler Reddick in lineups. Chris Buescher, he's been up in the top 5 running sometimes in Talladega. So if he keeps out of trouble, he's in good equipment there. So, and he's ended up in the optimal lineup quite a few times. So definitely like him. Eric Jones, I know we usually are down on him because he's not in the Gibbs car anymore. He's in the Richard Petty, but Bubba did okay in this race in the Richard Petty car. And I think, we probably could see him up in the top 15. So he's someone that I definitely consider also. Michael McDowell, I think he's back in the sweet spot. Okay with him cash. Not saying he's a super priority. I think he'll be ownership will be higher than it would be normally for him because of his win at Daytona, even though it was because he got up there and it was raining and it's just a crazy race. And then, Logano and Keselowski took each other out and he just happened to be last man standing. But he is a good plate racer, so definitely can see him in cash builds. Bubba Wallace, I think he's got the Gibbs team and tech, and Denny Hamlin is sponsoring this team. So hopefully that'll all come together and translate. I hate to even mention this, but this is the track that they did find the noose in his garage last time too. So I haven't heard any talk about that, which I'm really glad about. Hopefully, that's behind us. And, people might be thinking like, is that going to be an incentive or a distraction to Bubba Wallace? I don't think either, because when you're driving in these races and the cars are so close to you and it's like such like limited margin for error. You can't have anything on your mind besides, who's around me and listening to your spotter and just trying to make sure that you stay in the draft, that you follow your lines and that you make moves at the appropriate time. So I think Bubba will do really well here. And I don't think like any of the distractions from last year are even a factor. So just needed to bring it up just because I've seen some sites talk about it, but honestly, I don't think it's going to factor into this race for a DFS perspective. Chase Briscoe. Again, now we're back to where we were. So as I said earlier, he's not ready. So just to kind of recap, looking towards the back, but not like far back, I think my favorite range here is anywhere from, you decide what you want to do for Harvick, but like 16th through like 24th are really the cars to focus on. But, going maybe even down to 29th, because I think there's some good cars there, and Eric Jones and Bubba Wallace and Colt Custer and Ryan Preece. Then looking down at the bottom, I like Casgrala, Harrison Burton, and Justin Haley, but not too high on the rest of them. I just fear mechanical problems and things like that. Looking up top, I definitely think Hamlin or Logano could win this, possibly Blaney or Elliott, but I'm not playing any of the top six. The highest one I'd play would be Blaney or Elliott, but I'd like to go down further, and I think even more likely I'd be playing Dylan, Larson, or Almirola. Maybe Tyler Reddick as like probably the if I'm doing a all from the back and picking somebody in the mid-range, he'd be the highest mid-range guy with nobody before 20th. So that's what the builds are going to be. Thanks for watching and good luck. And let's just hope that this race is a little bit more exciting. Well, I mean, Xfinity was exciting, but it ended earlier than we wanted it to. So hopefully this time, we get some good racing. If there are some crashes, hopefully everybody's safe and there's no major injuries, and it can just be a great, enjoyable afternoon of NASCAR racing. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel, give us a like. It helps us continue to bring this free content to you. And next week we'll return. We go to the Lady in Black. I believe it's Darlington, and I believe all 3 series are running. So it's going to be a busy weekend next weekend. So good luck today. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below, and we'll try our best to get back to you. You can find me at Twitter also at MegaRuler31. So thanks again for watching, and good luck today.